أكثر موضوع متداول خلال الشهرين الماضيين ومن قبل حتى ما يستلم ترامب رسمياً منصب رئيس الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية هو
أن التغيير في العراق قادم.
يعني أكو تغيير بالعراق؟
أي نعم
أكو تغيير،
وبالتالي التغيير قادم في العراق لأن وضع العراق لا يحتمل،
والتغيير الخارجي قادم.
اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر.
التغيير بالعراق غصبا على أي بشر راح يمشي.
التغيير اللي المفروض راح يصير بالعراق، وشلون التغيير اللي صار بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ورا خسارة الديمقراطيين وفوز الجمهوريين راح يأثر على التغيير بالعراق. سياسة الحزب الجمهوري الحاكم وعلى الأقل بآخر عقدين تعتمد على القوة قبل الدبلوماسية، ولهذا كل ما أجى رئيس جمهورية جديد منهم العالم يتوقع قرارات حاسمة خصوصاً بالعراق والشرق الأوسط.
At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
أكثر من تحدث بموضوع التغيير بالعراق وأطلق حملة سماها ب Make Iraq Great Again هو النائب عن الحزب الجمهوري جو ويلسون.
اكو نائب امريكي اسمه جو ويلسون.
جو ويلسون بالذات.
جو ويلسون.
يعني هذا جو ويلسون قاعد يغرد بكيفه؟
جون ويلسون يطلع
يا اخي
نستلم
اموال.
النسخه الامريكيه مال فياق الشيخ علي.
هو شريك في شركات نفطيه في كردستان.
بستلم ويريد يستلم.
وحتى نفتهم أكثر بتفاصيل أدق بمثل هذا الظرف اللي يعتبر طارئ بالعراق حالياً، رحت المكتب النائب جو ويلسون عضو لجنة القوات المسلحة ولجنة العلاقات الخارجية بالكونغرس، والتقيت بيه وسألته كم سؤال بخصوص هذا الموضوع. Congressman Joe Wilson, thank you so much for your time and thank you for letting us doing this interview.
Well, I'm so happy to be with you and I'm just very honored, and it's so personal to me. I'm honored to be with you, and then I'm very grateful that our family wants the best for the people of Iraq.
Thank you.
And my oldest son served in Iraq, and he really had such a positive experience in meeting with young people and really trying to promote freedom and democracy and independence for the people of Iraq, not to be controlled by anyone. And that's why where we are today is so sad. And then I'm also grateful my second son served in Baghdad in 2006. And he is a doctor in the Navy, orthopedic surgeon, and he was grateful to work with American and also Iraqi patients.
Okay. Since Trump in office now, I have 3 quick questions.
Yes.
If I were a militia leader in Iraq, should I be terrified now?
Absolutely, and they should make every effort to either leave the country or abandon their efforts. Hey, Donald Trump's not going to put up, and we already see that. I am a strong supporter of his. He does not mince any words, and that is that he indeed, and it's being evidenced by the memorandum that he's already released relative to Iraq, and you see his efforts of maximum pressure against Iran over and over again. He wants a level of stability and prosperity for the people of the region.
Okay, so the second one. If I were a militia leader, but I have ministers inside the government, so that means I'm almost a state actor, should I be terrified as well?
Absolutely. That's even worse. There should be no relationship of terrorists with ministers in the government. And every effort should be made to understand that that is not in the interest of the people of Iraq. It needs to be addressed, and they need to be replaced right away.
Okay, if I were a state official in Iraq, but I work with militias, when should I be terrified?
Right away.
Right away. Now. Okay, that's cool. I saw your letter regarding the investigation of Brett McGurk.
Yes.
And will this move forward? And why did you call for the investigation?
Well, because it was utterly irresponsible, the prior administration, to lift waivers, to provide for funding. It was so against the interest of the people of Iraq. It was against the people's interests of America and for stability in the Middle East. And so over and over again, his conduct was just outrageous, and we need to have an explanation from him. And every waiver that he helped provide for needs to be addressed and eliminated, needs to be addressed. And we need to indeed do all that we can to reestablish with the government of Iraq. And I'm really grateful that indeed just 2 days ago that our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, was in communication with the Prime Minister of Iraq, explaining how important it is that waivers be lifted that he will work for the lifting of waiver, and I've got legislation to do that. And then additionally, that the energy supplies for the people of Iraq need to be stable, and they need to come from Turkey, they need to come from Saudi Arabia. The Turkish-Iraqi pipeline needs to be reopened. We know that if the Iranian influence can be eliminated, and I believe it will, because I'm very grateful that the people of Syria have stood up and they have removed the Assad dictatorship, a badge of honor. Just a couple of months ago, I was identified by Assad as an enemy of the state. Well, he's in Moscow, and what a punishment! How punishing could that be? But now I'm just so hopeful for the people of Syria. I just had lunch with the Foreign Secretary Lamy of the UK, and they are making every effort to lift all sanctions to help the people of Syria to come back into the modern world and address the horrors of the Assad murderous dictatorship, the mass murder. And then, hey, putting in perspective, in Syria, half the population was displaced due to the Assad dictatorship.
Almost 1 million got killed,
and 1 million killed, and so to see that overcome, and what a message that is. Hey, it only took 12 days for the dictatorship of Assad to collapse.
Iran proxies in Iraq, the object of your tweets in the last few months, accuse some lobbyists in Washington, D.C. Of influencing your position against them. How do you respond to that?
That's not true. And I'm very grateful that we have financial disclosures. So every penny that I have received in any way, it's salary. That's the only thing I really receive. And also my family, that also financial disclosures, and it's zero. But my interest in freedom and democracy really began in the Cold War. And I began really as a teenager working to promote the end of communism. And so I've been thrilled to be an election observer in Bulgaria, to see a free Bulgaria. It's exciting to see the progress. I've had the opportunity to visit Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. I'm really grateful. I've got my daughter-in-law's family is from Poland. And so to see freedom come, which was never anticipated. We were always told that communism would be with us always, but no, indeed, freedom has come. And now the same needs to be applied as with the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. I believe that December 8th of last year, with the fall of Assad, is a great movement toward freedom and liberation for the people in the Middle East.
And Iraq.
And Iraq.
Okay. In light of the recent reports with regards to U.S. threats to Iraq, what measures or actions do you foresee the U.S. taking with Iraq?
Well, immediately we need to be working on lifting the waivers and eliminating the waivers, and immediately every effort, as I mentioned, should be done to stay away from the unfair agreements that currently exist for utilities with Iran. And it's so easy to replace. Replace it with Saudi Arabia, replace the oil pipeline, and just over and over again, every effort should be made for the people of Iraq to stand up to the influence of Iran, not be forced by other people. It should be, it's so obvious, it's in their interest for themselves to run their country, not be influenced by another country. We don't want to tell the people of Iraq what to do. We would like, in fact, my political party, the Republican Party, the whole principle of our party is limited government, expanded freedom.
Yeah, there are rumors which said some entities will be sanctioned, government entities, like oil company, like the official oil company, or the main harbor of Iraqis, or the central bank.
Yes, they will. Yes, and my view is that there would indeed. Donald Trump and the leadership, again, of Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, Mike Waltz, the security advisor, hey, we'll be looking into any and all associations with Iran. We know that there's money laundering. We know that there's the money laundering with human trafficking. We know that drug sales, Captagon, killing young people around the world. And so what a threat. And so this will be looked into, and any association with the regime in Tehran is going to be identified and will be blocked, and people who are determined to have committed any crime, they will be prosecuted.
I heard that you're working on a bill to free Iraq from Iran.
Yes, and I just happen to have a copy, and it promotes again the principles of lifting waivers so that the people of Iraq can work not with Iran, but with their neighbors that are stable, that are positive.
So if the sanctions or the sanctions on central bank or the harbors or all the government, how would we shield the Iraqi people from?
Well, see, my view is that indeed the sanctions would be in place, but the net result would be, hey, domestic production. Gosh, whatever sanctions relief that could occur that that would have a negative effect toward the jobs and economic security of the people of Iraq would be replaced by other nations, but mainly domestic production within Iraq for the people of Iraq to truly benefit from the phenomenal resource the country has.
So it's kind of tough love.
Yes.
Okay. So do you think international partners can actually curb Iran's influence, or is it up to Iraq to take matter into its own hands?
It should be the Iraqi people first, and because it's so much in their interest to not be beholden or not be controlled by any other country, and particularly one that is a regime that oppresses their own people. And so it would be truly for the Iraqi people to see the example of the removal of the Assad dictatorship. That, to me, should be such an inspiration that in 12 days you can remove a dictatorship that has been flourishing and subjugating and killing the people for 40 years. And so it can be done by providing, and then there was in 2019, the popular movement that should be followed, and that is of the Iraqi people being involved.
So for what's happening now, going back to this question, is there still room or time for the Iraqi government or Iraqi politicians to continue playing a balancing act between U.S. and Iran?
No, it should not be. Hey, Donald Trump doesn't play that way. Soleimani found out that he doesn't play that way. That if you're a threat to the American families, if you're a threat to the security of American families, that where in any way possible there will be military action. We remember so well when Assad used chemical weapons on his citizens, and that evening during a dinner party with President Xi of China, as President Trump was notified that there was a use of chemical weapons, he said, President Xi, I'll be right back, and he ordered attacks on the Assad forces and came back and completed the dinner. And so he doesn't waste time. And so Donald Trump is somebody who, and hey, we saw it, the American people, that in his presidency, there were no wars during the 4 years that he was president. There was peace through strength. We're rebuilding our military. Yesterday, the U.S. House of Representatives voted to increase defense spending by $100 billion. And so over and over again, we want to follow the tradition of Ronald Reagan, which resulted in the victory in the Cold War, defeat of the Soviet Union, liberation of dozens of countries all over the world because of America standing with our allies, NATO allies, with our CETO allies, with the incredibly successful Japan and Korea and Australia. So over and over again, the democracies in the world, I believe, are flourishing, and it will be beneficial to the people of Iraq.
So if we're going to stay in the balancing act game, isn't it better to allow militias to be normalized, giving them money?
No. The money,
they have business, they have to protect it and become politicians.
Well, hey, whether it be money or business or jobs, all of that should be replaced by legitimate businesses. And in America, over the years, through the U.S. Agency for International Development, we've supported small businesses, we've supported legitimate businesses, and that's what should be done, and supported schools and transportation capabilities.
Yeah, but sometimes they say it's like the mafias in New York back in the 50s or 40s when they were controlling, and then eventually they turned to become businessmen, and then they quit being mafia.
Well, actually, the mafia, the good news is the FBI somewhat took care of them. And so, no, hey, the mafia, the good news is they were properly prosecuted and convicted, and then the Italian-American community now is just so widely respected in the United States.
So, two final two questions.
Yes.
Question number one: do you think the future for Iraqis would be different than the present?
Oh, absolutely. No, hey, again, the ripple effect of the December 8th collapse of the Syrian regime, the ripple effect is going to be encouraging to people throughout the Middle East to see that they can stand up, that they can prevail, they can provide for independence and not be reliant on other countries, and to indeed it would be the relationships that can be determined within the country. And as I mentioned, my two sons serving in Iraq, my affection for the country and the people I've visited a number of times at every area of Iraq, and from Erbil to
Basra.
To Basra.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've been there too.
Yeah.
I've been so impressed by the people. I remember visiting the ancient ruins. Hey, that's the beginning of our civilization. We know where we came from, okay? And so it was just so inspiring, and so I know it's going to be a bright future for the people of Iraq with the elimination of the Iranian or the regime in Tehran influence.
So your tweets now are viral in Iraq.
Wow.
Everyone is talking about this statement.
It's from my heart. And as I mentioned, hey, my support of freedom was not just in the Middle East. All my life, I've just been so hopeful, and I've seen it, to see countries that didn't even exist, Slovakia. Can you imagine, just over and over again, to see Slovenia? I could go down Croatia, over and over again, country after country that have been liberated from the oppression of communism. And then now we need to liberate the people of the Middle East from any oppression of extremism.
So I want you to say a few words for the militias in Iraq.
Well, the militias, they need to disband. They need to immediately provide for turning over of whatever weapons to provide for the people to have security within their communities, and so that they know that they can be secure and rely on law enforcement and rule of law. And I just know this can be done, and I know the American people truly have such a fondness for the people of Iraq.
Thank you very much, Congressman.
My honor.
Thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.